Brother, I'm about to show you something that completely changes how women respond to you. Not slightly, not gradually, completely. The same women who would give you polite but distant responses suddenly become engaged, interested, pursuing. Same women, different response. All because of one shift in how you operate. And here's what makes this so powerful. You're probably doing the opposite of this right now. Most men are. They've been trained by modern culture to behave in ways that trigger polite rejection from women while thinking they're doing everything right. Meanwhile, the small percentage of men who do this get completely different treatment. I'm talking about a fundamental shift in your energy and behavior that women pick up on immediately within the first 30 seconds of interacting with you. Their brain has already categorized you based on whether you're doing this or not, and that categorization determines everything about how they respond to you going forward. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself in your way of thinking." Well, this is about your way of being. When you shift how you operate at this fundamental level, women's responses shift dramatically, not because you're manipulating them, because you've changed the energy you're bringing to every interaction. Today, I'm revealing exactly what this behavior is, why it creates such dramatically different responses from women, how to embody it authentically, and what changes when you get it right. This isn't about learning tricks or lines. This is about a fundamental shift in how you show up. Pay attention, because this is the difference between being just another guy and being the guy women actually want. Let's go. Here it is. The thing that makes women respond completely differently to you, treating every interaction like you're already high value instead of trying to prove your value. Not arrogance, not pretending to be something you're not, but operating from the frame that you're already valuable, already worthy, already enough, in letting women discover that rather than desperately demonstrating it. Let me break down why this creates such dramatically different responses. First, understand what most men do. They approach interactions with women trying to earn their way into being considered valuable. They try to prove they're funny by forcing jokes. They try to prove they're successful by mentioning accomplishments. They try to prove they're interesting by listing hobbies and experiences. Every behavior is designed to convince her of their value. This frame communicates scarcity and insecurity. It says, "I don't believe I'm valuable enough for you to want me, so I need to prove it." Women sense this immediately, and the moment they sense you're trying to prove your value, they conclude you don't actually have value, because truly valuable people don't need to prove anything. But when you operate from the frame that you're already valuable, everything changes. You're not trying to impress. You're not seeking validation. You're not performing. You're just being yourself, completely comfortable, and allowing her to experience who you are. This confidence in your own value is magnetic because it's so rare. Second, this shift changes your entire energy and body language in ways you can't fake through technique. When you're trying to prove value, your energy is seeking, needy, approval focused. You lean in too much. You talk too much. You try too hard. You monitor her reactions, constantly looking for validation. But when you already know you're valuable, your energy is grounded, centered, self-possessed. You lean back. You listen more than you talk. You're comfortable with silence. You're not monitoring her reactions because you're not seeking approval. This energy is so different that women respond to it completely differently. Third, treating yourself as already valuable changes what you communicate through your choices and boundaries. Men trying to prove value say yes to everything, accommodate, constantly adjust themselves to her preferences. They're trying to be what she wants. But men operating from inherent value have standards. They say no when something doesn't work for them. They maintain boundaries. They don't adjust themselves to be liked. This demonstration of self-respect through boundaries communicates value more powerfully than any accomplishment you could mention. Fourth, this frame shift changes how you handle rejection or disinterest. Men trying to prove value take rejection as confirmation they're not valuable enough. They become defensive or try harder. But men who already know they're valuable see rejection as incompatibility, not inadequacy. They move on easily because they know their value isn't determined by any single person's opinion. This outcome independence is attractive in itself. Women can feel when a man's sense of value doesn't depend on her approval. That independence makes him more attractive because it communicates abundance and self-sufficiency. Now, let me show you how this plays out in specific behaviors. So, you can see the concrete difference. When meeting someone new, the man trying to prove value immediately launches into impressive stories or accomplishments. I actually just got promoted to I just got back from traveling in. I'm really into impressive hobby. He's front-loading value demonstration. The man who already knows he's valuable asks questions and shows genuine curiosity. What brings you here tonight? What do you do that gets you excited? He's relaxed, present, and comfortable, letting conversation develop naturally. He's not rushing to establish his value because he's not insecure about it. The difference in women's response is stark. The first guy gets polite acknowledgement while she waits for him to finish talking about himself. The second guy gets genuine engagement because she feels like he's actually interested in her rather than performing for validation. In conversation, the man trying to prove value dominates talk time. Every topic becomes an opportunity to showcase himself. She mentions a challenge. He immediately relates it to something he overcame to demonstrate his capabilities. He's using her as an audience for his highlight reel. The man operating from inherent value listens deeply. When she shares something, he engages with what she said rather than immediately pivoting to himself. He asks follow-up questions. He makes observations. He's comfortable being interested rather than interesting. Paradoxically, this makes him more interesting. Women respond completely differently to being genuinely heard versus being an audience for performance. The first creates polite tolerance. The second creates connection and attraction with time and availability. The man trying to prove value is always available. He drops plans when she becomes available. He responds to texts immediately. He's flexible with his schedule to accommodate her. He's trying to prove his interest and availability. The man who knows his value has a life. He has things he's committed to. He responds when it works for his schedule. He invites her to fit into his life rather than rearranging his life around her. His time clearly has value because he treats it like it does. Women respond to the first with decreased respect and attraction. His availability signals low value. They respond to the second with increased effort and pursuit. His busy life signals high value and creates scarcity. With investment and effort, the man trying to prove value overinvests early. Elaborate first dates, expensive gestures, constant texting. He's trying to win her through effort and investment. The man operating from inherent value matches or slightly underinvests relative to her demonstrated interest. First dates are simple and casual. Gestures are thoughtful but proportional. Communication frequency matches hers. He's not trying to buy attraction through investment. Women respond to overinvestment with taking advantage or losing attraction. His desperation is obvious. They respond to calibrated investment with reciprocal effort. His boundaries make her work to earn more investment. Now, let me tell you how to actually embody this frame authentically, because understanding the concept isn't enough if you can't live it. First, you need to build actual value in your life. This frame only works long-term if there's substance behind it. Develop yourself. Build your career or business. Get in shape. Cultivate skills and knowledge. Create a life you're genuinely proud of. When you've done this work, treating yourself as valuable isn't performance. It's just accurate self-assessment. Second, identify and eliminate value-seeking behaviors from your interactions. Notice when you're trying to impress. Notice when you're seeking approval. Notice when you're performing rather than being. Each time you catch yourself doing this, stop. Return to just being present and authentic. Third, develop genuine curiosity about other people. When you're actually interested in learning about someone rather than impressing them, your whole energy shifts naturally. You ask better questions. You listen more deeply. You stop performing because you're genuinely engaged with them rather than focused on yourself. Fourth, create non-negotiable standards and boundaries for yourself. What behavior will you not tolerate? What are your actual needs in relationships? What are you unwilling to compromise on? When you have clear boundaries and maintain them, You're demonstrating value through self-respect. Fifth, build a life full enough that no single person's approval matters that much. Have purpose, have friends, have activities you enjoy, have goals you're working toward. When your life is genuinely full, you're not desperate for any specific woman's validation because you're already satisfied. Sixth, practice outcome independence. Before interactions, remind yourself, my value doesn't depend on how this goes. I'm already enough. This is just seeing if we're compatible. This mindset prevents the approval-seeking energy that kills attraction. The Stoics practice this daily. Epictetus taught, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Your effort, your character, your authenticity. These are in your power. Her response, her attraction, her choices, these are outside your power and therefore not the basis of your value. When you internalize this philosophy, you naturally operate from the frame of already being valuable because your value is based on what you control, your character and effort, not on what you don't control, others' approval. Let me show you the specific observable differences in women's responses when you make this shift. When you're trying to prove value, she's polite but creates distance. She checks her phone during conversation. She gives short answers to your questions. She doesn't ask questions about you. She's looking for exit opportunities. She flakes on plans or takes days to respond to texts. She treats you as an option, not a priority. When you operate from inherent value, she's engaged and leans in physically. Her phone stays away during conversation. She elaborates on answers and shares stories. She asks lots of questions to learn about you. She extends the interaction beyond what was planned. She responds quickly and initiates contact. She makes time for you and treats you as a priority. Same women, completely different responses, all based on the energy and frame you bring to the interaction. I've seen this play out countless times. A guy approaches women with try-H-hard energy, trying to be funny, trying to be impressive, seeking validation. He gets polite rejection after polite rejection. Then he shifts his frame, starts operating from inherent value, and suddenly the same type of women who were rejecting him are now engaged and interested. The women didn't change. His energy changed, and women respond to energy more than anything else. Here's what's powerful. Once you make this shift and see the different responses you get, it reinforces the frame. You start genuinely believing you're valuable because you're getting real-world feedback confirming it. This creates a positive cycle where the frame becomes more and more authentic. But you have to take the first step of acting from inherent value before you have all the evidence. That's the leap of faith required. Start treating yourself as already valuable and watch how people's responses start confirming that reality. Let me address the mental blocks that stop men from making this shift. But I need to show her I'm interested or she won't know. Brother, asking her out is showing interest. Having conversation with her is showing interest. You don't need to prove interest through desperate behavior. Your presence and attention already communicate interest. What you need to avoid is desperate, approval-seeking energy that communicates low value while trying to prove high value. But I'm not that valuable yet. I'm still working on myself. You're valuable right now as a human being with dignity and self-respect, and you're becoming more valuable through the work you're doing. Operate from where you are with confidence while continuing to grow. Don't wait until you're ready. Start embodying value now. But she's really attractive. I need to stand out from other guys. You stand out by not trying to prove yourself like every other guy does. The man who's comfortable, authentic, and not seeking approval stands out dramatically in a sea of men performing and seeking validation. Different energy, not more effort. But what if she doesn't see my value? Then she's not compatible. Move on. You can't make someone see value they're blind to. Your job is to be valuable and let compatible people recognize it. Trying to force recognition from incompatible people is wasted energy. These mental blocks come from the same root, not actually believing you're valuable yet. The solution is the same. Start acting like you're valuable even before you fully believe it. And let the responses you get build that belief. Let me give you a practical exercise to implement this immediately. Before your next interaction with a woman, take 60. seconds and tell yourself this: I am already valuable. I have worth independent of her approval. I'm showing up as myself authentically. If she recognizes my value, great. If not, that's incompatibility, not inadequacy. I'm outcome independent. My value is not on trial here. Then enter the interaction from that frame. Watch how differently you behave. You'll be more relaxed, you'll listen more and talk less, you'll ask better questions, you'll be comfortable with silence. You won't rush to fill gaps with performance. You'll maintain eye contact easily. You'll feel less nervous energy. You'll be genuinely present rather than in your head. And watch how differently she responds. More engaged, more asking questions, more laughing, more physical proximity, more eye contact, more extending the conversation, more initiating future contact. This one frame shift changes everything, not over time, immediately. Let me bring this home. Women respond completely, differently to men who treat themselves as already valuable versus men trying to prove their value. The difference isn't subtle, it's dramatic. Men trying to prove value come across as seeking, needy, performing, insecure. They overtalk, overinvest, overaccommodate. They monitor reactions for validation. Women respond with polite distance, decreased attraction, flaking, treating them as options. Men operating from inherent value come across as grounded, centered, self-possessed, confident. They listen more, invest proportionally, maintain boundaries, they're outcome independent. Women respond with engagement, increased attraction, pursuit behavior, treating them as priorities. Same women, completely different responses. The variable is the frame you bring to embody this authentically. Build actual value through self-development. Eliminate approval-seeking behaviors. Develop genuine curiosity. Establish clear boundaries. Build a full life. Practice outcome independence. The Stoics taught this. Your value is based on what you control. Your character and effort, not what you don't control, others' approval. When you internalize this, operating from inherent value becomes natural. The mental blocks are fear-based. Fear she won't see your value. Fear you're not valuable enough yet. Fear you need to prove yourself. These fears create the very behaviors that communicate low value. The solution is simple, but not easy. Start acting from inherent value now. Before you feel ready, before you fully believe it, take the leap. Watch the responses shift. Let those responses build genuine belief in your value. This isn't about faking confidence you don't have. It's about honoring the value you already possess as a person while continuing to build more value through development. It's about showing up authentically without apologizing for who you are or desperately proving you're enough. You are enough. The work now is to start operating like you know that, to show up to every interaction from that frame, to let women discover your value rather than forcing them to acknowledge it, to be outcome independent because your value doesn't depend on any single person's approval. When you make this shift, everything changes, not just with women, with everyone. People treat you with more respect. They take you more seriously. They're more interested in what you have to say. They pursue your time and attention rather than you pursuing theirs, all because you stopped trying to prove you're valuable and started operating like you already are. The question is, are you ready to make that shift? To stop performing and start being, to stop seeking approval and start offering value, to stop treating your worth as something to be proven and start treating it as something that simply is. That's the work, and it starts right now. Next interaction, next conversation. Next time you meet someone new, show up from inherent value. Watch what changes. You already know what trying to prove value gets you. Time to try something different.